It is the voice of Indiana County. It's WCCS 101.1 FM, AM 1160, WCCSradio.com, and Indiana County District Attorney Bob Manzi is in the studio with us this morning. Our conversation brought to you by Marcus & Mack, voted best personal injury law firm in the Best of Indiana County contest. Marcus & Mack, a law firm representing injured people. Good morning to you. Happy New Year.
Good morning, Todd. Happy New Year.
It's good to have you with us here this morning as we talk about things that happened in 2023 and things that we look forward to in 24. We had Justin Shaw in here yesterday, Indiana Borough Police Chief, talking about the year in review for him. I'm sure you do a yearly review type of thing too, don't you?
We do. We always look back at the year and see what we accomplished, see what we can improve for the next year. If you're not seeking improvement, then you're just stale. So, we had a lot of really, really good accomplishments last year. We got through a lot of significant cases. Our drug task force, especially our drug task force last year, had one of the largest drug busts that I can recall ever being involved with. 6 states, 2 countries, over 3 million fentanyl pills.
Yeah.
It was a lot of good work from a lot of good men and women, local, state, federal authorities. To have a drug seizure of that size is incredibly significant. And the best part was it was our investigators that started it.
Yeah.
And really build it out with cooperation of all our other partners.
When something like that begins, you really have to have the long view of it, don't you? Because you know that this is going to take a while. You have to cross every I and dot every T.
And you really do have to have that long view, and you don't know which case is going to be that one that opens those doors.
Oh yeah.
You might start you might start 100 cases, and at your 101st is the one that opens that door. To have all the stars aligned to allow for the investigators to do that. Our investigators on our drug task force are very dedicated to what they do. They spend a great deal of time and energy gathering intelligence, gathering information, and they know most of those cases aren't really going to lead to anything else. But because you don't know which one is going to lead to that next step, you have to treat them all as if they would.
When you get that foot in the door of a drug investigation and you begin to see what's behind that door, probably, I would guess, with people who've done it for as long as the members of that team have, they can tell when something big is about to break.
They do. They have that, gut instinct of where things are going to go. A lot of what I talk about is they have such good training and such good experience. A lot of what they need to do, especially in court, if we were at a jury trial, is really translate police investigation to civilians. Mm-hmm. We all watch TV, we all watch dramas, and they serve their purpose, but it's not the real world. Having those investigators with 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 years of experience, there's a reason they look at something and it's meaningful to them, and to us it would mean nothing. Yeah. So they really take that time to focus on the details and to know what's worth pursuing and what's not.
Really disappointing to find out that most drug cases aren't solved in 53 minutes with 7 minutes of commercials. But
no, if they did, that would be great. But the reality is that with those knowledge and that experience they have, and the partnerships, I can't stress enough the partnerships that we have with the state, with the federal authorities. They're able to make calls to agencies where they're not just calling a random number and hoping they find somebody. They know I can call this person at this agency, this person at that agency, and really bring a lot of resources to Indiana County and to Western Pennsylvania that, a lot of small departments and a lot of small counties may not have, except for those partnerships. And I give all the credit in the world to the investigators with the boots on the ground.
Biggest investigation of the year, probably, in October, the shooting in Chevy Chase, the mass shooting where you had to call upon a number of different agencies on the spot at the moment, but then the investigation continues, and all of that legwork has to be done, and you're in the process of doing that. One of the things that we hear with a very impatient public is this rumor, that rumor. And you have to knock those things down too. But the big rumor is that the reason we've not heard of arrests is because there were one person gravely wounded, one person killed. Those were the two shooters. They shot each other, so you know who did it, and everybody is well aware from an investigatory standpoint. So we can take our time with this. How do you respond when you hear a rumor such as that?
We hear rumors in a lot of investigations. Unfortunately, that's exactly what they are. You get rumors that there's supposition, they read between the lines in a news article, maybe they happen to talk to somebody that they get a nugget of information. And the reality is that I always ask, let the professionals do the investigation. There's a reason it's taken this long. There's a reason, we're going to get to what's right. We do have an idea of what happened. The only two people involved rumor is incorrect. I can tell you right now, our investigation, that is not correct. We are going to do everything we can with all of our investigatory tools to bring all of the people to justice that we're able to have evidence on. The fact is that I know people want to arrest in that case. I want to arrest in that case. I can either arrest people today and probably lose the case based upon where we're at evidence-wise, or we can go through the process correctly and get convictions. And I'd rather do it the right way, even if that takes a little longer, than to just go after a headline.
A ton of information, just truckloads worth of evidence, I would assume, right at the very start. And then I would assume the pace of new information and new evidence slows down decidedly after the first few weeks. But then that's an awful lot to sift through.
It's a great deal of information, and you got to think every cell phone that we go through. Imagine all of the information on your cell phone. And if we're going through dozens and dozens of those, and some we still need to unlock, some we're going through the process of unlocking, some are already unlocked. That's a ton of information. Usually when we get information off of a cell phone, it takes up an entire hard drive. So every cell phone is a hard drive full of information. Most of it we can get through, but we need to really comb through there because we don't know what application they were using to communicate, what location information is going to be helpful. And when we're dealing with a situation like Chevy Chase where there was 100, 200 people there, that is a great deal of information to get through.
Absolutely. All right. So that investigation goes on, and we must be more patient, as I know that you and the investigatory team are working very hard to make that one happen properly and get the convictions that you'll seek eventually when those defendants are taken into custody or defendant. Other goals for you for this coming year, 2024. You mentioned the heavy caseload that you got through in 2023, and we might be tempted to think, well, okay, all that's taken care of, and everybody's safe and sound, and no more crimes are being committed. Not quite there.
I wish that was true. Crime has, if we look at the number of cases, crime has gone down significantly over the last 4 years. The last I checked, we're down about 41% since 2019. Now the state is down about 21%, so crime overall is down, but we're doing much better than the state average, which is great. But that doesn't mean it's time to sit back and do nothing. I think a lot of that goes to the work of the entire team. Our drug task force is out there going after the large dealers. We're hearing sophisticated drug dealers moving out of our county because they think Indiana County's hot and they don't want to be here, which is great. We'd rather you stop, but if you're not going to stop, get out of Indiana County. We have our officers doing a lot of really good work. We're getting a lot of good convictions, and we're hoping to continue that in 2024. We have a lot of cases listed for trial between now and the end of the year already. We're hopeful that by the end of the year, all that backlog's done. We'll schedule a number of cases. Defendants wait until the 11th hour and end up pleading guilty many of the times. So we're continuing that process. We have the Carriage shooting trials scheduled to happen this year. We have the Blairsville murder scheduled to happen this year. So we hope to get through all that. We're working hard every day.
That's interesting what you say about the drug trade and that underground type of information. That we talk about the rumor mills and what's going on in the drug industry right now, as people say, and stay out of Indiana County. That's great news, and it does speak to the task force. But it's always going to be a part of our society, and I know that you've always been big on encouraging people to let you know when they have even the slightest suspicions.
Let us know where it's at, because you're right. There's always going to be crime. Crime is always it's a part of society. Our police can't be everywhere at every moment. And when you see something, say something to us. We have many times where people are calling our drug task force. They're calling our office with information. That information turns into an arrest and a conviction of a drug dealer. We have information on child abuse that turns into an arrest and a conviction on child abuse, and a child being able to move forward without living through that abuse anymore. So we always ask people, you can send me a message on Facebook. You can call my office directly. You can call our tip line, and that's 724-471-7777. Call that, give us information. You can remain anonymous. We're going to do everything we can to do that. But that really helps us focus where our attention should be, and it's been helping us get a lot of really good convictions.
Now, we talk about the drug trade. That's obviously a big issue. The shootings and the violent crimes, that as well. One of the crimes that we pay a lot of attention to nowadays is scams, and particularly those victims of scams who are really vulnerable, seniors, young folks who get a hold of a cell phone and end up getting themselves into trouble. I know that that's a big concentration of yours, and education really is the key there, is it not? Education
and awareness, getting out and talking to people. As you said, that rumor mill churns out a lot of things people are saying in the community, and one of the things we want to turn that into is talking about scams, talking about how to protect themselves. People the thieves out there are working very hard to scam us all out of our money, take our identities, take our money. Being able to educate folks about that, raise awareness. We're going to all the senior centers again this year to do that. We're going to have our senior summit in May to have that information out there. But one of the big things is talking to people, being able to share with folks hey, I'm hearing about this scam, or somebody tried this scam on me. Talking about all that helps protect others from becoming victims.
Absolutely. All right. So I know that you schedule events that enable you to meet with the public and talk about that. Do you have anything on the schedule now?
Right now we're scheduled, and I believe it's the second Tuesday of the month for the most part. We're going to be at every senior center in the county. We are going to be scheduling our senior summit. I believe that's going to be in late May. We don't have a date firmed up on that just yet. We're meeting next week to do that. I'm always available to come out and talk to businesses and community events. We're going to work to get into the schools again in the spring semester to talk about social media and the pitfalls of that for kids. Mm-hmm. So we're always out talking to groups. I'm going to a group next week to have a conversation about juvenile justice. So I'm always available to talk. I'm always available to raise awareness. I know there's a lot of groups that are always looking for topics for their folks. We can come out. The Drug Task Force can come out. We always want to just raise that awareness, answer questions. Because, again, we don't want them getting the information from the rumor mill. Come to the source, and we'll give you the right information.
He is Indiana County District Attorney Bob Manzi. Thank you for the visit.
Thank you, Todd. Have a great 2024.
And you. It is the voice of Indiana County, WCCS, 101.1 FM, AM 1160, and WCCSradio.com. Jake is next from the WCCS newsroom. That's after Boomer with the CBS Sports.